The moment you decide that your time has come is the moment reality begins to obey you. Do not look to the outside world to confirm it. Look within, for all things are birthed from the unseen. And what you assume to be true in the depths of your imagination will unfold, not as chance, but as law. There is no need to ask if you are ready. The truth is, readiness is a myth born from doubt. You do not become ready, you declare that you already are. Imagine right now that you are no longer waiting, not for approval, not for timing, not for signs. The door is not in front of you, it is behind you. Already opened the moment you turned inward and chose to walk as if the path had cleared. To act as if your time has come is to step into the feeling that the universe has aligned for you, not because it will, but because it already has. In this realm, belief precedes evidence. The world reflects your inner world, not the other way around. Feel it in your breath, in the way you stand, in the thoughts you allow. There is no striving in the one who knows his season has arrived. He is calm, she is certain. They do not ask the world for confirmation, they command the atmosphere with their inner knowing. And this is the secret: what you accept emotionally and persist in mentally will crystallize into form. Your assumption is the engine that moves the unseen. Do not speak of soon, speak of now. Do not envision what may come, feel what already is. When you act as if your time has come, you stop postponing your joy, your power, your boldness. You no longer walk with hesitation, waiting for others to validate your value. You walk with conviction, knowing that the unseen forces respond not to desperation, but to certainty. You become magnetic, not because you chase, but because you radiate. Every step you take becomes different. You walk not as a beggar pleading for opportunity, but as a master returning to their throne. The things that once intimidated you lose their power. You are no longer impressed by delay or shaken by rejection. You know that delay is illusion and rejection is redirection. You know that all things must bend to the will of the one who dares to believe without seeing. Feel now the atmosphere around you shift. Feel the energy of one who no longer waits for the right time but creates it. There is no power in watching the clock. Power is in knowing that time serves you when your belief is unshakable. So when the world tells you to be patient, tell it you already are. But understand, patience is not passive waiting, it is confident knowing. The seed does not doubt the harvest. It grows silently, rooted in invisible certainty. And so must you. Speak your truth now. Walk your vision now. Live your dream now, not in fantasy but in faith, not in illusion but in identity. Assume the posture of one whose season is here, not coming, here, not almost now. Let your imagination become your dwelling place, and let your behavior match the reality you have chosen within. Because it is not about hoping you will arrive, it is about remembering you already have. This is the power you hold, to declare, to assume, and to remain faithful to the unseen until the world bows to the image you carry in your mind. Act as if your time has come, and the world will act accordingly. Assume the feeling of fulfillment now, not tomorrow, not when the world agrees with you, not when the conditions are perfect. Now, because now is all there ever truly is. The outer world moves not first but second. It reflects you. It bends to you. It mirrors what you carry inside your consciousness. To assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled is not to hope. It is to claim. And you cannot claim what you do not first accept. This is the great mystery most overlooked. They seek change on the outside, while their inner world remains a desert of doubt. But the one who understands the power of assumption knows the secret is to feel now what you desire to one day see. It is not enough to think positively. Thought is but the spark. Feeling is the flame. You must enter the state emotionally as if the thing you want is already yours. You must dwell in that emotional atmosphere. Breathe it. Speak from it. Walk in it. Not for a moment, but of constancy. The world responds not to fleeting wishes, but to deep inner conviction. What are you feeling when no one is watching? What are you entertaining in your quiet moments? That is the prayer the universe answers. That is the command you are giving to life. To assume the feeling of fulfillment is to no longer ask when, it is to live from the answer. If your desire were already realized, how would you feel waking up in the morning? How would you carry yourself? What would change in your tone, your walk, your posture, your decisions? That version of you already exists. It is not waiting to be created. It is waiting to be remembered, accessed, claimed. When you live in that version, emotionally, the bridge of events will form to lead you there. Not by force, but by law. Because you have entered the state where your desire is not something distant, but something familiar. You do not manifest what you want, you manifest what you are. And you are what you consistently feel yourself to be. This is why change is not something that happens, it is something that is assumed. The one who feels poor, even with money in hand, will lose it. The one who feels loved, even when alone, will attract deep affection. The one who feels powerful in silence will not have to raise their voice to be heard. The outer world is but a stage upon which your internal convictions play out. Most people live as reactors. They wait for proof before they believe. But to truly transform your life, you must reverse the process. Believe first, see later. Feel first, then watch the world conform. The mind will resist at first. It will tell you that this is delusion, that you must be practical, realistic. But practicality is the mask of fear. Realism is often just memory repeating itself. You are not here to live by repetition. You are here to live by revelation. And revelation comes when you shut the eyes of the flesh and open the eyes of the spirit, your imagination. Close your eyes just for a moment and step into the scene where your desire has already unfolded. Feel the relief, the joy, the calm assurance. Stay there. Let it sink deep. Let your body respond as if it is true. Because to the subconscious, it is. It does not distinguish between what is imagined and what is real. It only accepts what is impressed upon it consistently. And once it is accepted, the outer world begins to change, not as a matter of if, but as a matter of when. And when the doubts come, and they will, do not fight them. Simply return to your inner sanctuary, feel the feeling again, dwell in it, make it your home. Do not argue with the world, do not explain yourself. Just continue to live inwardly as the one who already has. Life will catch up. Circumstances will shift. People will move, events will unfold, not because you forced them to, but because you shifted your identity. The new version of you cannot live the old life. And so the old life must fall away. Most are so eager to act, to do, to hustle. But true power lies in the stillness of being, in the unseen world of assumption. That is where mountains move, that is where rivers part, that is where doors open without your hands touching them. It is not magic, it is law. When you persist in the state of the wish fulfilled, everything changes, even if nothing changes at first. Your reactions change, your energy changes, your decisions shift, and as you change, the world has no choice but to follow. Feel it now, whatever it is for you, success, love, freedom, peace, fulfillment. Not tomorrow, now. Let it be real to you in the silence of your heart. Let it become the air you breathe. Speak from it, think from it, respond from it, walk from it, and in time, perhaps suddenly, perhaps subtly, it will become your physical reality. Not because you begged for it, but because you lived from it. Assume the feeling of fulfillment now, and the universe will reflect your assumption back to you, faithfully and without delay. Imagination is the source of reality. Every building you see, every innovation that has shaped the world, every breakthrough that altered the course of history, all began in the invisible world of thought. Not random thought, not wishful daydreams, but conscious, focused, emotionally charged imagination. The power that forms galaxies and molds destinies is the same power that moves through the mind that dares to see what is not yet visible and feel it as if it were. Nothing begins in the external. The external is always the echo. It is the shadow of what first appeared within. When you grasp this, you stop worshipping facts. You stop letting conditions rule your spirit. You stop asking what is happening and begin declaring what must happen. Imagination is not fantasy, it is creation. It is not escape, it is instruction. The world bows to the one who imagines with conviction, because that person no longer plays the game of reacting. They initiate. They become the cause. The dreamer is not asleep. The true dreamer is wide awake within, using the inner world to reorder the outer one. So many spend their lives chasing results, chasing answers, chasing approval, when all along they carry within them the power to shift everything, if only they would close their eyes and begin to see. The one who lives by imagination does not need to manipulate the world. They do not force, they do not chase, they assume, they create. They impress their vision upon the substance of life by believing it into being. What the world calls miracles are nothing more than the fruits of disciplined imagination. There is no separation between imagination and manifestation. They are one process. Imagination is the seed and manifestation is the fruit. But too often people plant the seed and then dig it up with doubt. They imagine once and then check the world for evidence, and when nothing shows up, they quit. But this law does not respond to weakness. It responds to persistence. It responds to the one who dares to imagine, not once, but again and again, until it becomes more real than what their eyes can see. Do not underestimate your inner world, that place where no one else sees, that silent space behind your eyes. It is holy, it is sacred, it is powerful. That is where you create, that is where you form, that is where you command. The outer world has no choice but to conform to what you consistently hold in imagination with feeling. You are not a prisoner of the visible. You are the master of the invisible, and the invisible governs the visible. Many people live their entire lives reacting to what they can touch, what they can hear, what they can measure. But reality, true reality, begins where the senses end. You cannot see electricity, yet it powers your world. You cannot see gravity, yet it governs your every step. So why doubt the power of imagination, simply because it begins within? The most powerful forces are always unseen, and the most enduring creations always begin in the silence of a thought believed. To imagine is to touch eternity. To dwell in the feeling of your desire fulfilled is to step into a new dimension of power. Not as a trick, not as a temporary fix, but as your true nature. You were not made to live by sight alone. You were made to live by vision. You were not meant to conform. You were meant to transform. And transformation begins not with effort, but with imagination. You become what you behold within. If you want to change your life, you must first change your inner conversations. You must revise the scenes you play in your mind. You must replace the repeated stories of lack, delay, and limitation with new stories, stories of success, of love, of wholeness, of joy. And you must do it not once, but continuously, until the new story becomes more familiar than the old, until your imagination becomes more trusted than your memory. Your future is not waiting for you, it is waiting within you. You do not need to search the world for answers. You need to search your imagination for alignment. Your vision must become your dwelling place. It must become so real to you that it spills into your actions, your tone, your energy. And then, almost effortlessly, the world around you shifts. Not because you fought for it, but because you believed for it. You imagined it faithfully. There is no force in heaven or earth that can stop the man or woman who lives from the end. The one who sees what they want in their mind and holds it with feeling, with persistence, with inner devotion, that person holds the key to reality. Because reality is not fixed, it is fluid. It is clay in the hands of your imagination. And as you mold it within, so it becomes without. There is no exception to this. There is no delay to this, except the delay you allow by returning to doubt. Let the world say what it will. Let the evidence mock your dream. Let the facts tell you it's impossible. Do not be moved. You are not here to take inventory of what is. You are here to create what must be. And you do that not through effort alone, but through the divine act of imagining with feeling. The world will tell you to be realistic. But remember, every so-called realistic outcome began as an unrealistic idea. Someone dared to see it before it appeared. So dare to see, dare to feel, dare to believe, that what you imagine with clarity, with faith, with emotional conviction must become, not might become, must, because it already exists in the unseen. And imagination is the bridge that carries it from the invisible to the visible, from possibility to reality, from dream to destiny. You are the carrier of that bridge. You are the architect, and your inner world is your workshop. So build, not with fear, not with hesitation, but with certainty. The world outside will follow the blueprint you create within. Let certainty replace waiting. There is a vast difference between waiting for something and knowing that it already belongs to you. Waiting is rooted in doubt. It assumes that what you desire is separate from you, far away, dependent on circumstances aligning in the future. Certainty, however, collapses the future into the present. It declares that there is no separation between the desire and the self. To know that your time has come is to live in a state of peace and confidence. There is no anxiety in the one who knows. There is no pleading. There is no forcing. There is only a quiet power that moves without fear and speaks without apology. When you wait, you delay. You push your dream into the distance, making it a possibility rather than a reality. But when you assume that it is already yours, your entire inner world changes. Your energy shifts. Your mind begins to seek alignment instead of permission. You no longer need to be convinced, you've already decided. You walk differently, you speak differently, you make choices from a different foundation. Waiting keeps you at the door. Certainty walks through it as if it was always open. The reason most people never experience the breakthrough they long for is because they have not truly decided. They are still debating, still wondering, still trying to convince themselves. But conviction is not something you beg for, it's something you choose. It is not found by asking endless questions. It is found by declaring within yourself that it is done. The moment you stop asking how long is the moment life begins to move, because your indecision was the only thing holding the door closed. Certainty is not noise. It doesn't scream. It doesn't need to convince others. It does not post to be seen or speak to be validated. It is a deep inner alignment that says, I already know. That knowing becomes the vibration that life responds to. The world listens to the frequency of your being, not the desperation of your words. You can say 1,000 affirmations, but if your soul still waits, your reality will reflect the waiting. But one true decision, one deep assumption that your time has come, will ripple through every cell of your being and begin to shift the ground beneath your feet. You must ask yourself, are you truly ready to receive what you say you want, or are you still waiting for permission? Are you still believing you must struggle first, prove yourself, suffer long enough before you are worthy? These are lies passed down through fear and limitation. Your worth is not measured by time. It is revealed by truth, and the truth is this. The moment you declare that your time is now, everything begins to organize around that belief. Life does not wait to bless the one who waits. Life moves when you move, internally, energetically, emotionally. This is why many never see the shift. They do all the external work, but never shift the internal identity. They remain the one who hopes, instead of becoming the one who knows. And so the world responds, not with fulfillment, but with delay. Because it is not your effort that life obeys, it is your essence. What are you being right now? Are you being the version of you who has already received? Or are you being the one who is still hoping, still doubting, still stuck in the belief that it may happen someday? When you decide that your time has come, you no longer bargain with the universe. You no longer ask for signs. You no longer second guess every step. You simply move, not as if it will happen, but as if it already has. You stop seeking confirmation, because the feeling is your confirmation. The inner peace becomes the evidence. And this is the strange thing about certainty. It often makes no logical sense. It is not backed by facts. It is not built on what others say. It is born in the silence of your soul and carried out with unwavering intention. Certainty is the opposite of striving. It is the place where you rest in your truth. And from that rest, you take powerful action, not frantic action, but aligned action. You say yes where others hesitate. You say no without guilt. You make choices that serve the vision, not the fear. Because when you know your time has come, you do not fear missing out. You do not cling to what no longer fits. You walk with grace, with purpose, and with a clarity that turns heads and opens doors. It is not arrogance to believe in your season. It is obedience to your calling. It is not delusion to see yourself living the life you were created for. It is courage. And courage is rare because most are still waiting for someone to tell them it's okay to believe. But your soul is not asking for permission. It is asking for alignment. It is asking for you to stop delaying and start living from the knowing that all you seek is already seeking you. You just need to stop acting like it's not yours. You do not need to know how. You do not need to figure out every step. All you need to know is that your time is now, and to let every thought, every word, every action match that decision. Let your mornings begin with the mindset of fulfillment. Let your days unfold with the posture of one who walks in answered prayers. Let your nights rest in gratitude for what has already come, even if your eyes have not yet seen it, because life does not begin with evidence, it begins with a declaration. Declare it now, not with your mouth, but with your life, with your energy, with your stillness, with your joy. Let your certainty replace your waiting, and watch as life aligns to meet the version of you that has already decided to receive. The shift happens not when time changes, but when your belief does. The world does not give you your moment, you give it to yourself. So stop postponing what is already yours. The delay is not real, only your decision is. And the moment you stop waiting and step into certainty, the unseen begins to rearrange everything to honor the truth you've chosen to carry. Identity shapes experience. This is the truth that most overlook while chasing outcomes and results. You are not living life, you are living the identity you believe yourself to be. Every event, every repeated circumstance, every so-called coincidence is not random. It is reflecting who you are being on the inside. Before the world can give you something different, you must become someone different. Not in the sense of changing who you are fundamentally, but in the sense of remembering who you truly are beyond limitation, beyond fear, beyond the roles you've accepted out of habit or survival. You attract not what you wish for, but what you are. You do not need to strive to get what you desire if you simply become the version of you who already has it. The outer world will always bow to the self-concept you carry. If you believe you are overlooked, you will be. If you believe you are unworthy, no amount of outer success will satisfy you because your identity will reject it or sabotage it. But if you begin to see yourself as the one who is already chosen, already worthy, already living in purpose, the world begins to mirror that truth back to you, often in ways that seem miraculous, but are simply lawful. You cannot build a new life on the foundation of an old identity. You must break the habit of being the version of yourself that tolerates delay, doubts worthiness, or expects less. The assumption you carry about yourself is the command you give to life. Are you assuming you are the one who has to wait endlessly? Or are you assuming you are the one whose time has arrived, whose presence matters, whose life is unfolding in divine alignment? This inner shift changes everything, not because the world outside has suddenly become easier, but because your inner world has become clearer, louder, and more aligned with your deepest truth. Many people ask for transformation, but refuse to let go of the identity that created the very lack they now seek to escape. They say they want to be abundant, but continue to identify as the one who is broke, left out, or cursed. They want to be loved, but continue to act from the belief that they are invisible or unwanted. The result is contradiction. And contradiction within leads to confusion without. You must be willing to release the old self-image, like a snake shedding its skin, not out of shame, but out of clarity. That version of you served its purpose, but it is no longer needed. You have outgrown it. Think about it. If you already had what you want, how would you carry yourself? How would you think? What decisions would you make? What fears would fall away? Begin to answer those questions honestly, not for fantasy, but for embodiment. You are not here to perform a role. You are here to embody a truth. And the truth is that identity is not fixed. It is fluid. It is the mirror of your assumptions. And you can change it at any moment by deciding to feel, think, and act as the version of yourself who already possesses the life you desire. There is no need to wait for evidence. The world is a delayed reflection. If you wait for proof, you delay transformation. You must become now who you wish to be. It is not about faking, it is about aligning. It is not about pretending. It is about stepping into the role that your spirit has already chosen for you. Let your imagination show you who you truly are. Let it lift you out of the limitations you were taught to accept. Let it remind you of the power you forgot you had. The most powerful shift you can ever make is not in your job, your location, or your relationships. It is in your identity. Because from that one shift, all others flow. The version of you who knows their time has come will not hesitate to walk away from what no longer fits. They will not cling to people who misunderstand them. They will not beg for crumbs of recognition or fear the silence of transition. They will know deep within that what is meant will move toward them with ease, not because they forced it, but because they became aligned with it. Stop trying to convince yourself that change is coming. Start becoming the version of you who already lives in it. That version already exists. It's not far away. It's not waiting in another year or another decade. It is here, right now, in your mind, your vision, your spirit. You must choose to inhabit that version daily. You must let it guide your choices, your words, your thoughts. Every time you act from the new identity, you reinforce it. And eventually it becomes your nature. Not something you try to be, but something you are. This is not about arrogance. This is about accuracy. The accurate self-perception will always manifest more powerfully than a humble one based on fear or false modesty. You are not helping anyone by shrinking. You are not being noble by staying small. You honor your creator, your purpose, your destiny by fully becoming the highest version of yourself and letting that version shape your experience. That is the way you serve, not by suffering silently, but by stepping boldly into who you were always meant to be. When you shift your identity, your energy shifts, and energy is the currency of all creation. You begin to attract what resonates with your new self-perception. People respond differently. Opportunities appear. Doors open. Not because they were not there before, but because you were not the one who could walk through them. Now you are, and now they do. So take this moment not to wait, not to wonder, but to decide. Who are you now? And who are you ready to become? Let that decision be felt so deeply that it rewrites your emotional set point. Let it change your posture, your focus, your rhythm. Speak from that place. Move from that place. Live from that place. And soon enough, the world will catch up with the identity you chose to wear like a second skin. Life does not respond to your longing, it responds to your embodiment. When you become, the becoming ends. The rest is simply unfolding. You are not waiting for your time, it is waiting for you to claim it. The world bends not for the one who hesitates, but for the one who walks in quiet, unshakable knowing. Stop looking outside for signs and begin to honor the sign within, your desire. That desire was not placed in you to torment you. It is the whisper of your future, already written, calling you home. So act as if your time has come. Speak from it. Move in it, become it, and watch as reality shifts, not because you begged, but because you believed. Your new life is not on the horizon, it is within you now, waiting to be lived. Step into it and never look back.